Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou is now also being confirmed by Eddie Hearn himself on Twitter, as you can see on your screen. There's meant to be a press conference on January the 15th. This month, we have more deals coming out this month. Also, Joshua was meant to fight Deontay Wilder on the 9th of March of this year, but obviously we know what happened. Wilder lost a wide UD to Joseph Parker, and that fight got scrapped, and that's why we're now getting the Francis Ngannou fight. So now it's been speculated by Matt Coppinger that the fight between Ngannou and Joshua was happening on March the 9th as well, which is pretty big. Deontay Wilder's summer punch in the air right now. He probably feels a bit left out that everyone's getting these big fights and he's just come off a loss, which isn't great timing. It's worked out perfectly for Francis because we weren't sure what the next move was going to be. He said he's probably going to go back to do some PFL stuff, but after more after his fight with Fury. But obviously, this opportunity has come up and he's opted to go for Joshua fight. He's probably going to make so much money off this. And Joshua obviously has been extremely active. Joshua fought, I want to say back in April against Jermaine Franklin. He then fought against Hellenius in, I want to say, maybe August. And he just fought a few weeks ago against Otto Wallin. So Joshua's got 2 knockouts last year, extremely active. He's fighting again in March. So that's more or less him fighting 4 times in less than a year. You don't see it from heavyweights much. Joshua and Joseph Parker being 2 heavyweights, he's been extremely active, which is obviously good to see because fighters these days are not active enough. It's always one thing that the old timers always talk about activity of these fighters. But that's not what this video is about. Again, like I said before, I'm happy for Francis Ngannou. Like every single time he makes a new career move, going to PFL, getting the contract and the deal he got over there, getting a Tyson Fury fight, now getting a Joshua fight, it just shows more and more why him leaving the UFC was great for them. He's just come on leaps and bounds from there. He's made so much money, which is great. You don't have to struggle like you were saying before. He was saying when he was in the UFC at times he had to borrow money before his fights, So, yeah, great for Francis Ngannou. I'm looking forward to the presser. Now, again, like I kind of alluded to before, I think at the end of the day, this is Francis' second fight. Tyson Fury looked absolutely awful in that first fight they did. And I think some people might be projecting Francis to be a lot better than he really is. Now, Francis has done so well. He done some good things in there. A lot of things Tyson Fury likes to do, Fury couldn't do. He couldn't hold on the inside. Watch back Tyson Fury's last few fights against Wilder, right? He goes punch, punch, hold, punch, punch, hold. He's kind of like Klitschko. People don't complain about it as much, and because it's not as dirty, but he likes to hold a lot. In that last Deontay Wilder fight, the third one, for me, he could have knocked out Wilder a round or 2 earlier, maybe 3 rounds earlier, but he chose to hold and hold and hold. As good as that fight was, after the 6th round onwards, there was a lot of holding going on. Anyway, but he couldn't do it against Francis. Tyson Fury's showboat and stuff didn't work. And also, this fight being announced now, AJ, if he's a Ben Davison or not, they're going to take this fight extremely seriously. They won't be dilly-dallying dying around like Tyson Fury was. There's stuff about Tyson Fury and his trainer, by the way, that I don't want to discuss in this video, but people within a certain circle knows there's I don't want to disclose certain film videos just for purposes, but so I'm looking forward to it. Some people are a bit skeptical and not happy with it just because they're like, oh man, they prefer to see AJ versus Hergovich or AJ versus Zhang. At the end of the day, they're both gonna make money. Unless AJ gets an injury, he's been extremely active, and I think with the Usyk and Fury fight happening in February, the IBF belt is probably gonna get vacated soon, right after. So let's say it gets vacated in February or March. They could probably get the AJ Hergovich fight still on potentially sometime middle of next year. This depends how long the IBF are willing to wait for the belt to be held up for. So we'll see how it goes. It's still possible he can fight Hergovich. So that's not a write-off completely. But yeah, it should be a good fight. I'm looking forward to it. When I initially saw Francis, and by the way, when I first saw Francis versus Tyson Fury be announced months ago, or back in October, I wasn't happy with it because at the time, Fury was very inactive. He hadn't fought in ages. His last fight before that was Jake Chisora, which I thought was a farce. And I thought, Tyson Fury went inactive, you barely fight, and you finally fight, MMA guy. Go and fight a real fighter. Now it's a bit different with AJ. At least AJ, and he had the belt. AJ hasn't got a belt. He hasn't. He's not obligated. He can do what he wants essentially. So yeah, not mad about this. I'm looking forward to this fight. I'm looking forward to the presser as well. It should be fun. It'll be cool if this fight could be in Africa, but obviously it's not. It's gonna be Saudi, which is fine. But it just has two guys, one's Nigerian, one's from Cameroon. Will be fine to see this fight. If it could have been in Africa, but it is what it is. It should be a good fight. I expect AJ to kind of win the fight. But anyway, thanks for watching the video. Let me know what you think about the fight, and I'll see you next one. Peace.